I traveled to Singapore and I realized that there were some travelers who were refused entry to the country. Do you know that when you are granted a visa, or even if your country has a visa free or visa on arrival policy with another country, it does not necessarily mean that because you have the visa or because it's a visa free country or visa on arrival, therefore when arrived in the country, you will be allowed a free access to the country. It is not entirely true. In today's video, I'm going to share some information with you so that you can plan your travel well anytime and anywhere you are going. Make sure you are well organized and check all your documentations very well before you travel, because a little mistake can go a long way to affect your travel. At Singapore, these travelers were refused entry for various reasons, and one of the reasons was that they did not have a valid return ticket, and which I will start with. First, make sure you have a valid return ticket. Yes, you are traveling for vacation, you are traveling for visit, you are traveling for conference, you are going for a business trip. Make sure you have a valid return ticket to prove that after the duration of the conference or your holidays, you are leaving the country. That is very crucial to the immigration officer. If you do not have this, it can affect you. Don't make this mistake by traveling and not having your return ticket. It can go a long way to affect you. These travelers I'm talking about were refused entry, and this was my second time traveling to Singapore, and I felt really sad for these travelers because they have, spent a lot of money to travel all the way from their home country coming to Singapore for holidays, and because they did not comply by the immigration requirements, they were refused entry. It can happen to anyone. Therefore, make sure you have your return ticket. Now, there are some visas that you may not require a return ticket. For example, if you are traveling for studies, and even there are rare situations that you will need a return ticket depending on the duration of your studies. For example, when I was traveling to China for my MBA program, I did not need to book a return ticket because my studies was going to take me for about 2 years or more, so I didn't need to prove an immigration at Shanghai, which was my route to Wuhan. I did not need to prove my return ticket because my studies was 2-year program. But there are some short courses that you will need to prove a return ticket, and if you have to prove a return ticket, please do so. Now, once you are granted a visa, read about the requirements of the visa, the do's and the don'ts, so you don't travel to the country and do things that will go against you, and it can affect your travel history for a very long time. Second reason is that you don't have an accommodation. If you are traveling to visit a family, friend, or your wife or your partner or whatever it is, you still need to prove accommodation because the immigration officer will have asked you. When I was traveling to the UK, at Heathrow Airport, I was asked questions about accommodation, where I'm going to stay, how much money do I have on me, and this is because the immigration officer would like to know whether indeed you are traveling with a good purpose and you are well organized, and therefore you need to make sure that you have an accommodation. Book an accommodation. You have the visa. That does not necessarily mean that buy the ticket and then away you go. No, make sure you meet this requirement, or it can go a long way to affect your travel, and I don't want that for you. Therefore, take this information very seriously. Let's look at 10 reasons why you may be refused entry, and that is your travel itinerary. I had my travel itinerary for Singapore, so when I arrived at the immigration, I was asked the number of days I'm coming here to spend, what I'm coming here to do, and all these questions, and I answered thoroughly. showing evidence. Now, if you are traveling to any country, remember and make sure that you know every part of the applications that you did online. Or even if an agent did application for you, or a family friend or relative did application for you, try and make sure to get a copy of the application. This is because you need to go through the application and understand your itinerary, where you are going, your arrival points, your departure points, and all that. These are very important. These are minor, little information that you may ignore, but it can go a long way to affect you if you don't do that. Now, when you apply the visa, you give them your itinerary, especially if you are traveling for conference or work, business trip, or visit visa, or whatever visa you apply for. You have an itinerary. You submitted your itinerary to the embassy. The embassy check everything. You are granted a visa. Make sure that you know the itinerary. Read the itinerary. Get to know the ins and outs of your application. Because at your arrival point, the immigration officer will ask you questions. Yes, will ask you questions. And you have to make sure that you answer the questions. The immigration officer knows everything about what you are coming there to do. However, to be sure and to clear their doubt, they have to do this other interview when you arrive. Therefore, when you have your visa and you submit the travel itinerary, make sure you follow your travel itinerary. You can change your plans after you are allowed entry to the country. That is okay. Traveling to the UK, when I got to the Heathrow Airport, I was asked all these questions. Now, if I have changed my itinerary from the Heathrow Airport to, let's say, Manchester City Airport, I may face some series of interrogation, because at that point I have changed my itinerary. The itinerary you present to the embassy for your visa, make sure that you maintain that itinerary, travel itinerary, get through the immigration at your country of arrival, and then after that you can change it, and that's okay, because you can be questioned why you said you are going to use Heathrow Airport as your arrival point, and then you end up at Manchester City Airport. And if you're not able to explain yourself well and give tangible reasons and good reasons why, this can affect your travel. Therefore, don't change your itinerary you submitted for the visa. Maintain that, and after you get to the country, you can change it. Don't change your airport. You are going through Heathrow Airport, go through Heathrow Airport. Don't change it. If you are going through, let's say, if you are traveling to China and you are using Shanghai as your arrival point of entry, don't change it to, let's say, Beijing, because if you get to Beijing, they will know in the system that in your application at the embassy, you said you're going to use Shanghai. Now, why are you using Beijing? This is just a little, if a little thing that you can just ignore. However, it can affect your entry to the country. Take note of that. Now, let's talk about money or financials, which is the next thing. When you are traveling, I would advise that you don't carry a lot of cash on you, huge money, especially in cash. Deposit all your money into your bank account and connect it to your visa. We are in a technology world now, so Visa card or any other forms of online payment are available in almost every country that you travel to. So my advice to you is that you make sure you don't carry huge sum of money on you. There was a situation at the airport where a traveler was carrying a huge sum of money on him, and he was asked to explain the source of the money. Because he wasn't able to give good explanations and evidence, all right, he was detained, and it became a long story. Immigration police then came to arrest him, because you need to prove the source of the money that you have. It's advisable that you don't carry so huge money on you. When you arrive at the airport, most immigration officers, based on my personal experience, will ask you how much money you have on you. Now that we have looked at these steps and other information I have shared with you, let me give you some tips and some things that you can do to avoid a situation. Make sure you plan and organize your travel well. You are traveling, so your organization has to be top-notch. Alright, organize yourself well. Know the itinerary you are going, know where you are going, know the things that you are going to do, know the activities that you are going to do, because you can be asked, okay, what are you coming to do? Where are you going to do? What are you going to do there? All these can be asked, and if you are not able to express yourself well, it's going to affect you. Another thing is that make sure that you relax and keep calm. You are traveling for a genuine purpose. There's no way of panicking at the airport and feeling excessively nervous. It can affect you. Keep your calmness and speak to the immigration officer with confidence. The immigration officers are just human beings like we travelers. They are there to make sure that we travel safely and the country is also safe. I don't think the immigration officers are there to hunt any travelers, no. Because based on my experience, they are there to make sure that we travel safely, we live in the country safely, and to go about our duty safely. So they have to thoroughly check every traveler's information and all that. Therefore, don't get so annoyed with questions at the immigration and try to fight them. That will be a very serious problem for you. Understand them, answer the questions, and make sure that you can prove with evidence to them, and you can have a very successful travel. Now, speak with calmness and be confident. There is no need of feeling overconfident or even answering questions that are not giving wrong answers. No, make sure you are giving the correct answers and giving honest answers. Just be honest at every point and you'll be cool. You will be asked, I was asked how much money I was having on me at the Heathrow airport. Therefore, my advice is that you keep low money on you and keep the rest on your bank card to avoid any problem that can go against you in your travel. There you go. So these are some reasons why you may not be allowed entry. Yes, there are little things, right? But it can go a long way to affect you. So a quick recap. First, get your return ticket, book your accommodation, make sure you have enough money on you, not huge money on you to raise a money laundering or suspicion about you. Make sure you have a good travel history, comply by the immigration policies and requirements in the country, and you will be fine. Make sure you comply and follow these steps, and you will have a smooth travel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate. Share this video for me and let it go a long way to help someone, and let me know in the comment section once again what your experiences are when it comes to this particular issue. I wish you safe travels, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and please click on that like button for me. It goes a long way to help this channel. Thank you once again. Until I see you next time, peace and safe travel. Bye.